In today's show, I'm looking ahead to Monday for fantasy basketball and how we can execute some streaming. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen or your first watch every day. We are free and available on all platforms. In fact, it might be your last listen or last watch every day, depending on which show it is. Whatever it is, I just appreciate you guys tuning in and listening and watching to the show. So what we're going to do here is look at Monday's action. Who we can stream in solely for Monday. If you want to look at more strategies in terms of longer streaming, I covered that on the show that I released about an hour or so ago, the Waiver Wire show. We talked about early week streaming, guys to target there. We did the week 22 preview show a day ago where we talk about strategy for the whole week. All of that stuff has been covered already. So when I'm talking today, because someone left a comment on this saying, hey, you got to talk about preserving your ads, and that is all 100% true. And we've covered that off in other shows. What this is strictly looking at Monday's games. If you've made the decision, hey, or if you've got 7 ads for the week, who do I look for Monday? What categories do I need to win specifically for Monday? That is what we're going to be talking about today. You're in a roto league and you need to, so I knocked the microphone. In a roto league, you need to add certain categories in. Like, this is what we're talking about today. So take everything into consideration, how you preserve your ads, watch the Waiver Wire show, watch the week preview, work out where you're going to chuck your ads in. But if you are looking for production for this one day, this is what we're about in this show. And I hope all of that makes sense. Warnie?
Let's get it on, Gilly.
Let's start with points leagues. Let's start with Yahoo points leagues and guys we can add on Monday. Justice Winslow is sitting out on Sunday due to Achilles soreness. I am pretty confident that he will play on Monday, and I think he's just sitting out the first game of a back-to-back. But of course, at this point of the year and at the start of the season, my recommended playoff schedule said, well, what I recommended is to end on March 20th, which is today. So, because, again, there's dumb shit going on. We've seen it already. Jeremy Grant and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and just random injuries popping up all over the place. Injuries popping up all over the place. It is only going to get worse. So I might suggest players here, and random stuff happens, and a random player goes out and someone else jumps in, and I can't control that. I can't, be doing shows. I can't do a live stream 24 hours a day. I'm sure some of you would love that, to keep you up to date on everything that's happening and all the moves and all the changes and all that sort of stuff. So just be aware that shit is going to get wild and there's going to be weird changes happening at all times. I believe Justice Winslow will play on Monday. He sat on Sunday. I think he will play Monday, but he might not. And I don't know. We get more of an update after the Blazers game today, I would expect. Brandon Williams. Now, RIP percentages, but in a points league, that you don't really care. And I think the volume's going to be pretty strong for him. And his teammate, Drew Eubanks. Another good opportunity for Drewy Huey, with some value here on Monday's game with 4 games this week as well. Again, a lot of people rage dropped Patrick Beverley because he got ejected last game. Dumb. Go and re-add him. He should be on a roster. So should Jared Vanderbilt. They both play Monday. Alexei Pokusevski. I think Shai will return on Monday. That's the talk from the Thunder. They wanted to sit in one of these games on a back-to-back. And why not sit the game against a terrible team like the Magic? That's a good idea. So Shai, I think, will be back. But Pokusevski's still putting up some good numbers. Alperen Şengün. Yeah, look, he's playing a little bit more next to Christian Wood. Instead of 17 minutes, we're getting 24 minutes. I'd like him to get 27 or 26 before he's a must roster. But there's stream value for him. Jackson Hayes just should be on a roster in general. The Pelicans have got the best schedule out of any team, equal with the Wizards and the Bulls this week. Brandon Ingram's probably going to miss most of the week. Hayes is a must-roster guy for this week. Trey Mann, he does get nullified a little bit when Shai plays, but still some stream value there. And then the iron shoulder, Goran Dragic. Kyrie Irving is out. Dragic is going to play big minutes, it seems, in these games. And there is some value in streaming him in for days like today. For ESPN points leagues, some of the same names are going to appear here. Justice Winslow, again, I've already talked about his likelihood to play. The Shark, Bruce Brown Jr.
Baby shark,
He's available in 81% of ESPN leagues. Now, I know there are a lot of dead leagues. Are there that many dead shits, though, in the leagues that are active? Why is Bruce Brown on the waiver wire? I know that, there is potential for him to lose value, but Simmons isn't coming back, man. Like, he's just not. At least not this next week. Bruce Brown needs to be on a roster. Same with the petulance of dropping Patrick Beverley, go and add him. Trendon Watford, Brandon Williams, Drew Eubanks, they're all available in a significant majority of ESPN leagues. And I think their schedule this week is good. Plus, you got that Monday stream option there. Mason Plumlee, he shit the bed last game with some foul trouble, but I do expect somewhat of a bounce back from him. And I think he's a pretty good option for us here. Jackson Hayes, I talked about already. Jared Vanderbilt, I talked about already. And then Malik Monk's available in a ton of ESPN leagues as well. LeBron, is he going to sit at any of these games coming up? You'd have to think at some stage he does, considering how bad... well, actually, that's not true. The Lakers won their last game. But, Monk is still providing value irrespective of LeBron's status. So there are some ESPN options for you to stream in for points leagues for the Monday slate of games. But if you are looking to get fit and healthy, and what I like to do, because, I'm a lazy slob who works 15 hours a day during the NBA season, but when the season starts to wind down, that's when I need to start getting fit and healthy. That's why I've got a box of Built Bars. And when I say a box, I mean a box full of 11 boxes of Built Bars coming my way. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar ever. I could just go to my supermarket and grab a protein bar. I could do that. But they taste like garbage. Or, if I wanted a treat, I could go grab a candy bar. Yeah, we have different candy bars here. Still delicious, but they're still high in fat, they're high in sugar, they're high in calories. Whereas Built Bar, it straddles the border between the two. Protein bars with high protein. Candy bars with high taste. Built Bar doesn't both. It's a great combination. 130 calories in a bar, 17 grams of protein in a bar. Whatever you're looking to do, replace your sugary treats or really get healthy with your body, Built Bar is going to be there for you. So head to Built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, and save 15% off your order of Built Bars. Built Bar is built different. Let's go to category leagues now. Who are we streaming in for each particular category? Again, you don't have an idea how the matchup has gone because it's the first day of the week, but you should be able to have a look. And this is where the tools at Basketball wants to come in, where you put your team in, you put your opponent's team in, and have a look. How's it projected to look for the week? Projections are projections, and there's going to be variations there, but you can get a pretty good idea. Hey, am I going to get smashed in this category? Am I going to smash this category? Yeah, and then you can sort of start to ignore those. What's going to be the tight one? Is it going to be steals? Is it going to be blocks? Is it going to be percentages? Is it going to be points? So where do I have to focus my attention during the week? If you are focusing your attention on the points category, a bunch of guys here I can talk about who might be options for you. Trey Mann. Again, he doesn't do a huge amount else. He can be inefficient, but maybe he gets some points for you. Reggie Bullock is off the injury report after missing the last few games due to personal reasons. He probably gets 30 minutes. He might score 15 points. There's value in him, I think. Goran Dragic. Yep, he's going to get a lot of minutes with Kyrie out. Dennis Schroeder. I don't know whether Eric Gordon will play. He's been missing non-back-to-backs even. So Schroeder is getting an inexplicably large amount of minutes, but he's getting those minutes. I don't have to agree with him for me to recognize that he's getting those minutes and he can score at times. Dwight Powell, this is where it gets rough though. Dwight Powell's not a great scorer. He can give you 10 or 12, but it is hard to get big scorers off the waiver wire. The artist formerly known as Torian Prince with Jaden McDaniels out, he can get hot, and we saw that, like 15 in 16 minutes last game. Something along those lines. He can get hot with the shooting, and there is going to be an increased role for him. Corey Kispert, the role is there. The 30 minutes is there. There is some value in him as well. Bill Hernan-Gomez, only takes him 8 shots to get 15 points, maybe even less. Yeah, he is a really, really high efficiency option. Precious Achiuwa, the big sneeze. Yeah, look, he does some things poorly, but he can do some things well. And with Anunoby still out, there's minutes there for Achiuwa. And then Patty Mills, that's a dart throw. This is why, again, streaming in points off the waiver wire is tough because there's not many good scorers that sit on the wire. Yeah, Millsy, maybe. He could also throw up a donut. And that is the risk with a lot of streaming, to be honest. For 3-pointers, who are we streaming in? Similar names. Reggie Bullock, Patty Mills, Trey Mann, like that's where they're deriving most of their value is hitting threes, which of course doubles up in the points category. The Spur, Duncan Robinson, finally people have dropped him. Finally, we've gone under 50% roster percentage for him. It was sitting at 80 and 70 for so long. We are finally under 50, and now that he's under 50, he can be considered a streamer. He's been a 3-point streamer all season. It's just that the general fantasy basketball masses haven't realized that fact, and he's just being held in all leagues. Now, we look at him as a streamer for threes. Corey Kispert and Torian Prince, that's what they do. They hit threes. Georgie Niang in Philadelphia, he's getting some strong run off the bench. He can be inconsistent, as a lot of these guys are. But 2 or 3 triples, Niang can bring that. Goran Dragic, yeah, good role for him. Gary Bird, Garrison Matthews, especially if Eric Gordon is out. Birdie can be one of those guys who can come in and hit 5 threes. He has been a little bit ice cold. This is before the result of Sunday's game is done, so I don't know how he went in that one. But Matthews can put up some interesting numbers. While the Winter Soldier, Max Strus, he's a guy that I like as a player, but there's always been inconsistencies in his playing time. But with Butler, who knows what the hell's going on with him? He's always at risk to sit out games, pretty much always. So that does open up opportunities for Strus. We've also got Caleb Martin questionable for Monday's game, and Gabe Vincent and Oladipo are out. So he's already got the extra minutes, plus there's a chance at a huge role. If Butler and Martin are out, we're going to get 35 Strus minutes. And that is pretty exciting. Almost as exciting as college basketball can be. We've got everything covered over at BetOnline as well, whether it's odds, contests, player props. BetOnline.net is the number one source for all your sports betting needs and info. It is the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just college basketball, it's the NBA. It's also your continued source for all sports wagering information, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and the action. BetOnline is where the game starts. Let's look at rebounds. Who can we stream in for the rebound category? Let's go to New Orleans with Billy Hernangomez. He might play 10 minutes, but he also might play 25, depending on Valanciunas, depending on how they go. But they've got no Graham or Ingram. So there is an opportunity for Hernangomez to get those 20 minutes and maybe get 7 or 8 boards in that time. Precious Achiuwa, again, one of the things he can do well is grab some boards. And I think the role for him is going to be pretty large, so he's a good streamer for that. As a spider walks across my wall, just watching where he goes. Dwight Howard, it's always a risky play for Dwight. He might play 20 minutes, he might play 0 minutes. The Lakers rotation, they try so many different things, none of them work. That's the problem when you have a bad roster. Howard, though, can rebound and can be a streamer. Nicky Claxton with Aldridge out, yep. You might get double digits from him. Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber, they're always risky, but they're always going to be at least an option because we know that there's a role there for them. Tristan Thompson, like he's not a great player, but he is a good rebounder. And if anything ever happens to Vooch and he gets in foul trouble, then Thompson plays a few minutes. I've seen some insane Bulls players that are like bench Vooch and start Thompson. And thanks for telling us that you don't understand basketball. But people are out there saying that. Denny Avdia, minutes are pushing back up for him. I don't feel fully ready to trust his minutes. But when you're looking for rebounds, Denny's there. PJ Tucker, maybe. DeAndre Jordan, Embiid is going to sit a game. I'm telling you now, Joel Embiid, there is going to be a rest coming at some point. Whether he's questionable for Sunday's game against the Raptors, maybe that's the rest. Or does he sit Monday against Miami? 2 really important games. So there is going to be an opportunity in one of these games for DeAndre Jordan to probably start, to probably look dreadful, but to probably grab 10 boards. And, is being dreadful a category in your fantasy league? Hopefully not. But if it is, you need to reassess your league. But otherwise, he's just going to pull down rebounds. Assists. Again, it's the bloody hardest category to get guys here. But Killian Hayes is an option. Now, he'll probably have 0 points, but he could have 7 assists and 5 steals. And that is useful. Corey Joseph. I was going to say he's understudy, but it's not. It's his mentor, apparently. 30 minutes a night for Corey Joseph, which is always sick, although it could end up being 20. Who knows what they do. But there is always 4 or 5 assist potential there from Corey. Goran Dragic, Dennis Schroeder, we spoke about those blokes already who are going to have some elevated roles. Ish Smith played more minutes than Hull Neto last game, but I don't trust the Wizards point guard rotation at all. Neto might get 30 next game, I don't know. Hull's on this list too. With Devontae out, pretty interested in Jose Alvarado. He might get 10 assists. Honestly, a pretty strong assist stream option. After him, it gets a little bit iffy. You got Taylor Horton-Tucker, who's hit and miss. You got Hull Neto, who I don't know where the minutes go. There's Saban Lee, who's been playing some minutes, but they haven't really shown much trust in him all season. But there isn't a chance for him here. And then there's Brandon Goodwin with Rajon Rondo out in Cleveland. Goodwin, I think, has been okay, but that's bottom of the barrel stuff there. Lee, Goodwin, Neto, Horton-Tucker. Yeah, Alvarado's a good stream. The top 6 guys there, Hayes, Joseph, Dragic, Schroeder, Smith, Alvarado, are probably going to be your best assist streamers. For the steals category, well, the number 1 guy there is Alvarado. Really like him. Chris Dunn, also, he could be an assist stream as well. Dunny in Portland, who's getting a lot of minutes there, and he could easily have 4 steals. Very good steal streamer. Horton-Tucker can get some steals. Trey Mann's there too. Torian Prince, Saban Lee, we spoke about already. Hull Neto, we're getting a bit dicey here. Hull Neto, Isaac Okoro, Goran Dragic, Killian Hayes. Now, Hayes is the most upside. Outside of Alvarado and Dunn, Hayes has the most upside out of this group to get 5 steals. If you're looking to really bump up steals, Jose, Dunn, and Hazy, they're the guys who can really put those big numbers in. Whereas a Trey Mann or a Torian Prince or a Saban Lee, they're going to be more steady. Maybe you get 2. Most likely you get 1. And then you got your Netos and Dragic, where it's like, I'll get a steal and really not much else. And Dragic in particular just gets there through volume of minutes alone. For blocks, Nicky Claxton, I think, is got to be one of your number 1 guys to look at. Muxie Kleber can get 5 blocks and can get 0. Like, he's very up and down. Nazareth Reed is returning to action with Towns questionable. This could be a very, very big opportunity. Very big opportunity for Nazareth. Keep an eye on that. Achua, he can get you 2 blocks. Horton-Tucker, now we're into the area of like maybe a block. Horton-Tucker, Grant Williams, Dwight Howard, and Dwight Powell. Yes, they're both starting centers, but minutes and production, and even shot blocking prowess for Powell is not at its highest. The incantation, Olivier Sarr.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
I don't know whether Roby or Sarr starts, but Sarr is a good shot blocker who can get 2 or 3. And then DeAndre Jordan, who, again, might play 30 minutes. He's not a good shot blocker at all anymore, but he might get you 1, maybe 2, which could be enough to help you kickstart in that area. For field goal percentage, Onyeka Okongwu, JaVale McGee. There's something wrong with that. Actually, you know what? That is a weirdly wrong slide, and I'm going to change that. Apologies. Now that's better. This is the appropriate list for field goal streams. Dwight Powell, very good field goal percentage guy. Nicky Claxton. Shout out to 2008 with DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard. Bill Hernan-Gomez. And then you get a little bit more iffy. KJ Martin, maybe. Javonte Green doesn't really take any shots that aren't at the rim, so he might be a 60% guy. Tristan Thompson. How about the C part though? Moses Brown, providing some okay minutes for Cleveland with Jarrett Allen out. He's not going to contribute across the board in many things, but 70% guy, perhaps, maybe. And then Nazareth Reed, who can shoot himself out of this category, but there is an opportunity for some big minutes, and if they go in, he can really influence that category. For free throw percentage, this slide's right. Corey Joseph, Dennis Schroeder, Reggie Bullock, Grant Williams, Goran Dragic, Austin Reeves. For the Lakers, he's going to get some significant run, and he's a good free throw shooter. Garrison Matthews, Duncan Robinson, George Niang, and Corey Kispert. And that, guys, will do it for me today. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. If you are here on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, leave your comments down below, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.